with the come on. It is the Relationship Exchange,
Yay.
SMD, which is single, married, and divorced. So we are getting everybody up in this thing talking about relationships. But before I get into all of that, let me shout out my co-host, S. Marie, baby, with the hats that always come through, baby. Always come through. Yes. How are you this evening?
Oh, girl, I'm great. Happy to be here tonight. I look forward to my Tuesday chats with you.
Yes, honey. That's what. Look, we should have named it Tuesday Chats, honey, and just talked about any and everything. Listen, it ain't too late. Y'all know we'll rebrand in a minute.
Really?
We'll rebrand.
Exactly. Exactly.
Won't we do it? So yes, I'm excited to be here tonight. Y'all know last weekend it was the election night, and we went through all of that. So we've had a week to woosah and breathe in and get it together and be ready to move forward. So
Mhm.
tonight, what we got, Is Marie? Because we be bringing through some stuff, honey. They be having some confessions. They be asking some
Yes.
questions, girl.
Listen, we got some good ones though. We
Okay,
definitely have
okay.
some good ones. I'm super excited. Let's break it down. I love the fact that you trust us and trust our opinions because again, opinions, everybody has one, and the fact that you're willing to trust us, trust, share, and trust with us is very vital. So I'm excited about that. So shout out to all of our listeners. Um,
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Absolutely. Those watching, participating, submitting your relationship exchange confessions. We love it and we're here for it. We definitely want to support you and offer you some really good words of wisdom. That's what we offer,
Mhm.
words of wisdom.
And so let me
So,
say this before she go on and downplay the thing. Hey to everybody in Facebook, IG, YouTube. We are so glad to see y'all tonight. S. Marie is the expert. I just be on here just, doing what I do and say what I say. But S. Marie is the real goat of the program, right? Listen to what she say, y'all. Y'all just be taking my stuff with a grain of salt. I just be on here.
I would say this. I have a lovely young lady. I won't mention her name. She's definitely coming out with something. I haven't gotten her permission, so I won't say it. But she gave us the best compliment. She said, I love how you guys compliment each other on your show. And I'm like, how so? And she says, well, she was like, you have your way. She said, but that a love girl, she just give it to you. And she just, she's so animated. And I said, oh, that is love right there.
That's it right there. Look, I'm just here for the animation and the cut up, girl. Look, that's it.
No, she said, I love it. She said, your dynamic is awesome. And she said, I'll definitely be watching from now on. And I said, well, shout out to you and everyone else who watches. So thank you. So, yes, we have
Yeah, look.
regulars. I
Thank
love
you.
it. I love it. So, we got some good ones. So,
Okay.
without further ado, because I want to get into because we got a couple of them and I think you'll like them.
Okay. All right. Let's roll with it.
The first one is this hit because I know what it feels like to be in a long distance relationship. So I'm looking up here because my screen is up here, but it
Mhm.
says my husband got a new job. We moved to Atlanta. We are from New York City. I feel like the move has caused a little drama for us because I have not been able to find a good job, she says. How do I fix this? We are 3 years in our marriage and I do not want to lose my husband.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'll start it off.
Okay.
One, pray about it. Definitely pray about it. And let him know how you're feeling. Let him know that you feel um I won't use the word insecure, but you're not content with where you are.
Mhm.
That you want to find employment, but you're definitely looking for the right employment. And a lot of times, working cause a big strain in relationships. Either, some people are happy with their spouses not working, some people want their spouses to make more, do more, whatever. But understand that you just moved here and Atlanta is a beast. A love, and I can tell you, it is not even a good evening, Miss Doris.
Good evening, Doris.
It's not easy trying to be in Atlanta, trying to find a job. It's there's a lot of people out here and great people that are talented, but guess what? So are you. So you're going to find the job. You just want to find the right job. You said you want to find a good job, but we're going to say the right job because you can find a good job. A good job is a job that pays, right? Where there's not a lot of drama and all that, but you want to find the right job that's going to keep you happy, that's going to give you work life balance, that allows you still to connect with your family and do the things that you need to do. So we're going to pray that you find a good job, but a job that you will be happy with. Um, but more or less communication. This is something I think we talk about communication every show, right?
It is everything hinges on communication. It really doesn't
Absolutely.
matter. We can say all day long about all these other things, but
Hmm.
communication is like the glue that keeps things together, or
Hmm.
something that will break it apart. And so
Absolutely.
I know y'all probably get tired of hearing it, but I mean, at the end of the day, that really is what it boils down to, what that communication looks like.
Yes.
And bottom line, you probably want to have a conversation because, like Esmery said earlier,
Mhm.
it is really hard for some people when it comes to jobs,
Absolutely.
and sometimes people will say, oh, well, hey, do you, I'm good, we good, whatever. They
Hmm.
don't really mean that. And so, because you can tell how they act when
Yeah.
things are not getting met, or something, Miss Dorsey, yes, communication is vital, but
Yes.
people don't always want to communicate how they feel. And a
Hmm.
lot of that comes from upbringing. Some people come from two-parent households. Some people come from single-parent households. So you may feel like a prima donna and like, baby, hey, he out here breadwinning. I bring home the bacon, I'm going to cook it up. Well, he may be looking at you like, I know that it looks good and sounds good, but
Hmm.
my mama always worked and my mama had two
Right.
jobs. And I just believe that, I just was expecting you to do the same thing, but
Right.
never say that. So you have to really pay attention because you may be stressed out thinking like, okay, well, we moved, he had a job. And I'm assuming that in order for him to have moved out, for you guys to move from New York City to here, the job had to be good enough for him to say, okay, so that means that you got to leave your job. I'm coming down here to this job. So it
Hmm.
was something in the package that was presented to him that made him feel like it was worth leaving there to come here,
Absolutely.
knowing that you wouldn't automatically have a position, right?
Hmm.
And so have that conversation with him and see what it looks like, because maybe what you're doing is sufficient.
Hmm.
If it's not, then find out, okay, how long can we roll with me doing this job as I'm looking for something else that's going to pay more money or free up more time or whatever that looks like. In the
Absolutely.
meantime, people in Atlanta can tell you it's hustle city. Like, it's always something going on. People always got a side hustle. They always doing something on. I'm telling you, girl, this is the place to come when you looking for somebody who doing something going on, can hook you up with something. It's just here. I mean, you can find something to get into, something to be a part of, something to do.
Right.
It's just here. You know what I'm saying? It's like network marketing capital. I mean, it's just so many
Mhm.
things, so it just depends on what you all need and what you're looking for,
Absolutely.
but have the conversation so y'all are on the same page. Because
Mhm.
I hate for you to feel like your marriage is going to end just because of a relocation of a job and y'all
Yeah.
been in 3 years. That right there, figure out what it looks like,
Mhm.
have a conversation, and then make sure that this doesn't be the end of what was already beautiful before you got here.
Oh, yes, I love that. And I'll add one thing.
Go ahead.
When I read this, it reminded me, and I had to find the scripture.
Mhm.
And the one I wanted to relate to this was Philippians 4, 6 through 7. And I'm just going to read the first part. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God.
Mhm.
So when I just said pray, my advice to you to add on to everything A Love just said, pray about it, but pray with intent. Because a lot of times, and I'm guilty too, when we pray about things, everyone says, oh, pray about it, but pray intentionally. Um, ask God what it is that you truly want. Don't beat around the bush. Be very specific. A lot
Yes.
of times we kind of teeter, well, I was thinking about this, Lord, and I was thinking about that. No, God, I want, God, I need. He knows what you need,
We
but he wants
already
you to
know.
trust him. He really already know. But be
Yes.
specific when you're praying about it. And not only am I asking you to pray for yourself, but ask your husband to pray with you. Ask him to pray for you that you will find a job that is conducive for both of you, not just you. And that's, the trusting and the communication, because again, only you know what job is right for you. So I agree with you, never to just take a position just for the sake of having a position, because you will be miserable. But just make sure that you're praying for the right position and you keep your focus on that, and continue that open line of communication with your spouse. Because if you're still feeling this way 2 months down the road, he may never know if you don't take the time to open up and say, baby, I feel like I'm not living up to par. I haven't found this good job that I want, that I need for us,
Mhm.
and allow him to provide you with his feeling. Because maybe you're just paranoid. You may be a woman who's like, I gotta, be my partner and I gotta do my part. Maybe he feels like you moving was doing your part. He knows it's not going to be easy. But as A Love said, it was substantial enough for you guys to move here. So I think he knew that there was going to be a transition.
Right.
And a couple months is not long, to find something that's right for you, whether it's a house or clothes or whatever. It's not going to happen like this. Sometimes it takes time, but when it does happen, it's going to be very quick because it was meant for you. So
Yeah.
yes, that was a good one. When I read that, I was like, "Oh, I want us to
This is
address
hard.
that."
It's
Yeah, I
hard. You know
mean,
what I'm saying? You're already away from your family or friends or whatever when you
mhm,
move from one state to another.
to
Then
another.
you got to take in consideration that now you feel like your money is funny. It's not right
Mhm.
because you were working there and you come here. And so, although you're together, it's still a different thing when you don't have your own money. You know what I'm saying? And people can say whatever they want to, but having your own gives you a sense of confidence. It gives you a sense of security and
Peace.
stability, and so, I mean, I can understand, but at the same time, y'all just have a conversation and y'all make sure that whatever decisions are being made, make them together. Don't sugarcoat. Don't
Oh,
pat a cake and play with that thing. Come on and be real with it and say, listen, this is how I feel. This is what I'm seeing because they
mhm,
ain't paying what they was paying up there.
right.
And, I'm a little stressed out. And, maybe y'all have to make some adjustments over here. Maybe,
Mhm,
can't go out to eat like you did before. Or maybe, you
right.
can't buy, you can't have Amazon dropping off at the house every other day like you did before. It may require some adjustments, but it's not going to last always. You
Not
know,
at all.
it's
I
not.
I I want to touch on, you touched on it a little bit earlier too, networking. Allow social media to be your friend.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of your age range or anything, but they have a lot of groups, and I just found a really great group. Well, a couple of them. It was like ladies that are in their 30s,
Mhm.
then ladies in their 40s, and they're all networking. And these ladies share jobs, travel. So
Mhm.
look for things in your area, wherever you are in Atlanta, because Atlanta is such a big place. I mean,
Because
you've got
Atlanta
the
ain't really
city,
Atlanta, girl. Look,
and yes,
Atlanta is all the metro surrounding
everyone,
cities.
everywhere, absolutely. But find people in your area and connect with them, or join some of these groups
Yeah.
that offer that. I have a good friend of mine. She is actually in Alabama, and I'll tell you what she does. She's connected, and she has this website where or not website, a Facebook group, and she posts jobs, housing, help for children and giveaways. And I'm sure there are things like that here in Atlanta as well. I haven't found one, but I will do my due diligence. And if I do, I will share that. So if anyone knows of anyone hiring or any websites that she can go to, please share it with the Relationship Exchange. Put a post out or comment on this episode so the individual can see it, because we definitely want to help her find the right job, and we want to bring peace to that family, because I know how that feels, wanting to be able to contribute, but you can't at the moment. But I want to tell you this too: there are other ways to contribute, not just financially. Do your part at home. I don't know if you're a cook or not, but guess what? YouTube is great. I have found plenty of recipes on TikTok. Now, I'm not the cook. I know how, but it's not my thing. But I'll tell you what, they make some good stuff on there. And if you follow the rules to the T, you have some banging meals. And then also try to, keep it spicy too. He may be stressed. You've had a little time to relax. Now, mind you, I'm not saying housework is easy, but between keeping the house clean, if I don't know if you guys have children, but just make sure that when he comes home, he has a good time. Give him a way to relax, whether it's a bath, wine or liquor, whatever he drinks, some tea, whatever. Allow him to relax, rub his feet a little bit, or just give him a massage. You never know. It's the little things that you do that contributes to your marriage that has nothing to do with finances. So just keep that in mind.
And let me throw this out there. Depending on where you are, like in the Douglasville, Georgia area, there is a group called the Women of Douglasville. Baby, put anything in there that you want, and somebody will be able to tell you something. I don't care what you're looking for, job, house painting, your alarm maintenance, whatever it is, mechanic, they will get it to you. So look into groups like that. The ladies of Cobb County, I think it's a group for women of
Yes,
Cobb County. So it just depends on where you are.
absolutely.
But get on social media, like Esmery said, and connect to some of these groups, because the women in there, I'm telling you, they look out for each other. They make
Mhm.
sure that, somebody needs something, they're
Yeah,
putting it in there. So, open yourself up to a group. You may not know anybody in there, but I tell you, if you ask for it, they will give it to you. So that's another
absolutely.
good thing.
Yeah, really good people in Atlanta. Not everybody, we're not saying trust everybody. We are saying get you a group and then you weave between the lines of what you want. Because I don't want something bad to happen. You come back and say, them ladies on that exchange. No, we
That's right. But go to the women of Douglasville for sure. I know they
absolutely,
always do a
absolutely.
great job.
Yep.
Always.
And the
Shout out
copy
to
as
Karen
well.
Campbell, because she makes sure to keep that group tight and right. So
Say it
yes,
again. Say the name again, A Love.
Karen Campbell,
Karen Campbell,
with the
Ladies of
women of
Douglasville, or
Douglasville.
Women of Douglasville. There
Uh-huh.
we go. You
Oh
heard
yeah.
that.
Yes.
Karen Campbell, Women of Douglasville.
Yeah.
Join that group.
Yes. Get there.
Yes, love it. That was good advice. Okay, so let's move on to number two.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
This one says, ladies, do you feel there are signs that let us know when we need to see a counselor? We both are happy, but we disagree a lot, and we do not want our personal family members involved. Hmm. So my advice is to this, counseling is very beneficial. Um, as a counselor, I would tell anyone, if you feel that you need counseling, there obviously is a reason why. um, be mindful of your counselor, because for me with my clients, I need to make sure we match. Do a consultation if that's what you want to
Yeah.
do. If you feel that you need to and both of you agree, it won't hurt. It will enlighten your relationship, things about yourself, and give you opportunity to express yourself. But make sure, if you're going to go down that route, choose the right one. um,
Mm.
in any counselor would love to have a client. However, in my opinion, make sure that you and your counselor and your spouse, that you guys can connect and you guys understand one another, because every counselor isn't for every person. So make sure you find the right counselor, and then make sure you know why you're going to a counselor. you know is it because you just see someone else doing it? What is the underlying reason for it? And make sure those are the things that you actually discuss, and that you're getting resolution, because you don't want to spend money on a counselor just for the sake of going. And again, I say that because you said here, but we disagree a lot and we don't want our personal family members involved. Your personal family members aren't going to be involved until you put them in there. No one's in your marriage or relationship until you put them in there. So that's how they get involved. So keep your relationship between you and your spouse. It's nobody's business that you disagree. A counselor, yeah, obviously now a counselor can help you with those disagreements, but I want you to understand, just because you don't agree does not mean that there's not love and you have to, run to someone else. Try to resolve some of these issues on your own, and when you can't, that's when you go to a counselor. But understand that every couple at some point doesn't agree on something. The key is compromising. Hey babe, I don't agree with you, but you know what, let's try it your way. If it doesn't work, let's try it my way. Um, Make sure that you're keeping an open mind as well. Because again, when you go to a counselor, you may hear some things that you really don't want to hear, but you also may learn some things about yourself. So just make sure you understand it's not about fixing something that's broken. It's more or less building what you've already established. That's what a counselor and coach is going to help you do. We help you build a strong foundation, not just fix broken pieces because y'all don't agree on the same thing. I want chicken, I want pork. Okay, listen, do chicken and pork. That's your compromise. So, you know, yeah, just don't always assume, oh, we're gonna run and somebody else has to tell us about our marriage. And I'm not knocking, because again, I am I am a coach and counselor, and I do feel that it is valuable for a lot of people, but just make sure that you exhaust your efforts before you just run to someone. And again, don't put your family in your business, because that's a problem. Everybody is opinionated, but I'll tell you, my mom was old school. She opinions are like buttholes. Everybody got one. Everybody's going to try and tell you how to manage your household and your marriage and your relationships, but it's not for everybody. That's between you, him, and God. That's those three coils that we've talked about in season one. We've talked about it in this season as well. Just make sure that you keep your business private. Therefore, you don't give anyone anything to talk about or anything for them to advise about, because it's not their place. But also keep in mind too, when you do that, and they get in your business when you didn't invite them, you have to be the one to let your family know, hey, this me and my husband, we got this. And he has to do the same to keep those naysayers or the busybodies out of your business. But build a strong relationship by communication, build it by listening, compromising, providing trust, being trustworthy. You want to do things like that. It's the simple things that carry a marriage over, and listening, because everybody has feelings and opinions. So as long as you're listening and being willing to support your mate, your relationship will be just fine. Arguments are okay. There's a good arguments because it makes room for good makeup sessions. I'll say that.
Told y'all S. Marie be honey doing the doggone thing, coming through with it. I'll say this, when you talk about we argue a lot.
Yeah.
Like S. Marie said, some arguments are healthy. You have an opinion and you should be able to voice your opinion with who you are with. Counseling is great because you don't have to be in a bad situation to want to have counseling. Sometimes counseling just helps you to grow and mature. It helps you to see each other's perspectives. It gives you, a point of reference so that, you don't always think you're right, but neither is he,
Right.
and y'all are able to give each other open space to give your viewpoint, because sometimes you may not think it's the right thing, but it turns out that it actually was the right way to go. But
Yeah.
because you are used to doing things a certain way, you don't want to hear it until you realize, oh, my way didn't really work out. Okay, let's do yours. So the thing
Mhm.
about it is how you manage what you all have as a relationship. How valuable is the input from your spouse? Because y'all are in this together. Y'all a team. Once you get together, it doesn't matter about everybody else. This is the team. This is a team that's going to win or lose. It doesn't make a difference what everybody else says. So
Absolutely.
whatever you feel like you need to do to invest to make your team stronger, that's
Mhm.
what you need to do. It's just like if you looked at sports, if somebody, sometimes they need to call in another coach to, coach on offense better, or to give somebody, some skill training. It's different things that can happen, even down to how you, take care of yourself, or what you eat,
Mhm.
or how you work out. They do a lot of different things on these teams to make sure that they come in strong and pull together. They watch videos. It's a lot of things they do to
Mhm.
make sure that the team is
Yes.
optimizing and maximizing their strengths. Same
Mhm.
thing for you and your spouse. Do the things that's going to make sure that you guys are a unit and that you move the same direction. And that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that it's got to be in agreement all the time, but
Right.
you can also agree to disagree. And that's
Mhm.
being on the same page. Like, okay, you know what? We're going to table this for right now. Let us not be, in a point where we all over the place and talking crazy to each other. Let's just kind of put a pause right here and
Yeah.
then come back and talk about it when both of us are calm and in a position to do that. So,
Absolutely.
your disagreements, it depends on how y'all disagree. Now, if y'all running around here breaking up your household and throwing stuff and acting crazy and, doing all of that, then you might need to go see
Come
somebody.
see me.
You might need to call S. Marie. Yeah, book an appointment with S. Marie so y'all can get this thing worked out. But if it's something amicable where you can disagree, but
Right.
still, not calling each other out of your names, not having
Absolutely.
the physical abuse, still wake up in the morning and say, I love you too, even though I'm mad at you because you did
Absolutely.
something crazy, but we still in this thing together. It's how we
Absolutely.
manage that.
Right. I love that. And you reminded me that is important. A Love said, still tell one another you love them. A lot of times when we get angry, we want to turn that off. Don't turn that off. Regardless to what the disagreement was about, everyone needs love. And you may be upset or hurt or annoyed with that person, but you
Mhm.
still love them. So always be willing to, go that extra mile, even in anger, to say, I love you. And try not to go to bed angry at all when you have a disagreement. Agree to table it until the next day, but still hug and hold and touch, love on your mate, because nothing is promised. People pass in their sleep, people pass on their way to work. They say the worst accidents happen within 2 or 3 miles of your home. So, and I'm
Mhm.
not wishing that upon anyone. I just want you to understand that we don't know the day or the hour. So the hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds and all that you have, regardless of how you feel, still let that person know before you depart you love them, because again, they may need that. That may be the turning point of that situation. Because guess what? I may be mad at you because you didn't see it my way. But if I just say, okay, we can talk about another time. I need to go to work, but I love you, that goes a long way.
It does. Let me
Uh,
go back to Miss Doris because she made a comment. She said, yes, taking your business outside of the marriage is not healthy. It
mhm.
leads to doors you don't want opened. I'm going to say
Absolutely.
this. You may be able to say, baby, you know what? I can't stand him. He get on my nerves. You know what? I'm so sick of this. I ain't finna be bothered with that. And turn around tomorrow and y'all lovey dovey kicking it, baby. You don't even want to get out the bed.
Right.
And the person that you don't want to told your business to is looking sideways, cross-eyed, and ready for some
Absolutely.
blows. So be mindful of who you put into your business because
Mhm.
y'all know we gonna be all right sometimes.
Right.
We just need to vent. But the person you venting to, they love
Not
you.
forgiving.
They don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you upset. They don't want to see somebody mistreating you.
Mhm.
And it's hard to get that out of your mind when somebody's came and told you something that they're dealing with. And you're just like, oh no,
Absolutely.
you ain't got to deal with that. Oh no, he don't want to hear from what he don't want to hear what I got to say. And you looking at them like, don't tell
Right.
me,
No, that's
don't
true.
say that. Because then you're
Yeah.
going to go right back. Or you just mad, but you just need to get off my
Right.
chest. And now y'all are happy.
Yeah.
Be mindful because the people that who love you, they
Yeah.
don't have a on off switch.
At all.
Once you cross a line, 9 times out of 10, I'm really looking at you crazy. Like, I don't even really want you to come to my house because I'm really upset about how you did. I really,
Right.
I'm mad about that. Still, 5 years
Right.
later, I ain't forgot. So
Mhm.
it's
Very
best
good
to
advice.
not bring people into your business. Figure
Right.
out a way. Go talk to a neutral third party who don't know nobody. They don't know
Mhm.
you, your mama, your cousin, your auntie. Now they don't know anybody. So that way
Right.
it works itself out, and y'all can still move forward with your life. So
That's
yes,
a good one. Cause listen. I have a big sister, and baby, trust me, you do something to me, she is on 10.
that's
In the car
good.
on 10.
We didn't even go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It went from
Uh-uh.
0 to 10, just like that,
Cat started 10, honey. She
just like that.
she on
Starts
10.
to 10. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, the family members don't always forgive. Some of them, yes. The mature ones, absolutely. But those stay ready ones, they don't. So please be mindful, because that is definitely how people get hurt. So keep your business
That
your
is
business.
that is true.
All right, let's move to our third one. It says, my husband and I are both business owners. We often lack emotional connection. And it seems sometimes transactional. How do we get a deeper emotional and intimate bond as a couple? I know it takes more than the physical aspect of it. Mm. I, you mean to start?
Mm.
I've been starting all night.
Listen, let me say this. That is so hard because you know what? Like Tina Turner never said in the movie, what's love got to do with this? for some people, people
Yeah,
get in relationships for different reasons, you know,
absolutely.
and you got to be able to understand that if y'all are in a business together and you want it to be more than just that business, you want to have a real relationship, you want to have intimacy and
Mhm.
connection and communication and contact, you got to make room
Absolutely.
for that. You
Yeah.
can't just be all about business. It has to be sometimes where you are able to get together and have long conversations about something outside of business, because
Mm.
you know people win your mind before they win your heart, or they
Yeah.
should.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? In order to know that sometimes things may change and shift. People get older, things, you know,
Mhm.
how they looked in the beginning may not be how they end up looking.
No.
The money, you know, businesses sometimes when it fails, it can put strain, especially financial strains
Mhm.
on your relationship. So you got to be able to build something intimate even when those things are not the
Not
same. Even
there.
when
Yeah.
something changes, it has to be a common denominator. So now y'all got to start figuring out what that looks like. So it's spending quality time. It's
Mhm.
doing quality events that have nothing to do with anything else. It
Right.
is um, getting to know each other on a level of where y'all are best friends. So that anything that we do, I'm always looking out for your best interest because you always
Yeah.
looking out for mine. It's
Right.
being able to see the bigger picture, because like you just said, people drop any given time of the day. It's not promised. So you got to
Right.
be able to know that I love this person outside
Mhm.
of this business that we're doing. And if it's transactional now, y'all got to figure out, how did y'all get together? What was the
Mhm.
spark that made you connect to where you wanted to get married? And then
Mhm.
go back and find that.
Oof. She said, "Find that." Yes. I love that. Um, I'll add Ecclesiastes Ecclesiastics 4 verse 9. It starts with, "For two are better than one." If one falls down, the other one picks them up. So understand, just like Ayla said, when you're in a marriage, it's not transactional. It shouldn't be. There are things that are transactional, but not your marriage. If your interaction should not feel like a transaction. What
Okay.
I'm hearing is that, oh, that's my husband, so that's what we should do. It's routine. Absolutely not. It shouldn't feel routine. If there's a routine going on, then you need to break that routine. Do things that surprise your mate, that make your mate feel good. Understand that it's okay to have a business. It's okay to, have different lifestyles altogether when it comes to what you do for a living. But when you come back to that house that you guys are providing and paying for, that difference is separate because you become as one, as she said. So it's really important that you keep your marriage based off love, but also happiness, right? And be wise enough to know that a marriage should never feel like um, a business. It should feel personal. It should be emotional. There should be intimacy, but it's not always sexual intimacy. There's mental intimacy as well. Um, I have this thing. I have to mentally connect with you.
Mhm.
You want to mentally connect with someone because guess what? You have to be intrigued. If you can't have their mind, then what is the purpose of the physical? So I love what you said. Find the reason that you fell in love. What did you do before you became married and had a business? Because
Mhm.
a business should never stop you from being a spouse, a parent, a sister, cousin, brother. It should never stop that. You still have to find joy in your life. You only got 24 hours. Now, as a business owner, I can tell you it's not easy. A love, working, it's not an 8 hour type of
It's not.
thing. You may have days where you might work too, but there are some days where you're working every bit of 10 to
You might be on 22, baby. You might be team no sleep because we got to get this thing
absolutely,
done. But you know what,
absolutely.
Esmery? What I think is that sometimes we lose us in the midst of trying to become something more, to leave legacies and to do all these other things. But it should be a point in time where the two of you have an unspoken connection. You
Absolutely.
should be able to have you should be able to share a joke without anybody else in the room really knowing what it is. Y'all should be able to pick up on stuff and be able to get in the car and
Absolutely.
bust out laughing and say, did you hear when they said, I want to? You should have a level of communication that is
Right.
outside of that business to where you know each other so well that you already know what he's going to do. He already knows what you're going to
What
say.
you gonna do?
When you
Absolutely.
go into it like that, the transaction changes because you're in a covenant. So that
That
supersedes
part.
everything else. You know what I'm
That
saying? You got to make sure that you don't lose that. And if you've lost it, then maybe y'all need to go to counseling like the first people were talking about so
mm-hmm.
that somebody can help you to talk through
Absolutely.
what you're going through and what you're feeling and rekindle what you had before.
Lost.
Because
Absolutely.
that's what should last. You know what I'm saying? The
Mhm.
business may or may not, but your relationship, you got to put work into it. It can't be
Yes.
easy to let go. You got to be able to fight for that thing and want it to stay
Grow.
together and get better and better. Because of course, the stronger you guys are, the stronger you can make that business be.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Strong people build strong relationships. Strong relationships last for long periods of time.
Yeah.
And again, a marriage is not meant to be a seasonal thing. So when you're married, make sure if you have transactions, make sure they're intentional transactions, but make sure they're one of love and support. A lot of times you're so focused on your business that we forget to think about our spouses, and then when we come home it is transactional. But don't be that couple. And I agree, this may be the couple that may want to go to figure out, hey, what happened to us. But I think trying to spend time together, because again, businesses are very hard, but you have to make that time, because if you don't make that time for yourself and for your spouse, not only are you losing the connection between your spouse, but you're losing your sense of self, because all you do is work. And work life balance is key, because you fall apart after a while. I can tell you right now, my corporate position, I have had one day off in the last 3 weeks. It's not easy. Plus, running a business, it's hard. So, you want to make sure that you're at peace yourself, because you burn out quickly. Our moods and mentally and physically, we change, we gain weight, we lose weight. There are so many different things that your body is going to go through if you're not happy. So find that balance for yourself, so you then can connect with your spouse and find the balance and the chemistry of your marriage. And I'll give you the same advice we gave the other one. It's not always about being outside. If you're too busy, outside during the day, and when you come home you just want to relax, do something simple. Order a pizza, watch a movie, get some popcorn. Look, make your living room the theater. If you don't have a surround sound, get one. Put some speakers up to the TV. Make it seem like you are at whatever your name is, whatever your last name is, that's the movie theater you at. You make it happen. Or again, rose petals. Go get some rose petals.
Do
Decorate the
some
room.
self
Light
care
candles.
together. Yes. Do
Yes.
some, have a
Simple
couples
stuff.
massage. Y'all got a business. Let's all
That.
come in there and do a couples massage and do
Yes.
self care together. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Go take a walk in nature. Do some
Wow.
things
Mhm.
together that is not business related so that you can get back
Mhm.
to you.
Yeah.
Get
They
back to y'all.
Yeah, because when you come home, business should stop. Business talk should stop, unless you're just venting or having pure conversation. But your whole night should not be based on that business. There should be some loving conversations in there. There should be some networking between the two of you. There should be some building, but it doesn't always have to be about business. It can be building your bank account, or finding a trip, or talking about kids. Just if you have children, doing things with your children. Because again, I guarantee you, if you're feeling like your marriage is transactional, and if you have children, what do you think they're thinking? They see it. So be
They
mindful.
already know. Do it be
Yes,
anything from them. They already know.
absolutely. And you don't want that, because you don't want the kids to feel transactional. You want to show them a solid foundation.
And
That's what you need to build, because guess what? That's what they're going to become accustomed to. So therefore, when they are in life 20, 15 years from now, whatever, they know what a good marriage looks like. It's not transactional. But I will give you credit. I love the fact that you were honest and said, hey, my marriage is transactional and I'm a part of it. How do I fix it? Your willingness to accept it was the first step to it. So kudos to you for doing that. And if your husband agrees, then kudos to him as well. It's important to recognize things because that's the biggest flaw we have. Some people can recognize and spot your flaws, but when it's turned back like this, they don't see nothing. Them three pointing back, they don't see it. So I love the fact that you said, hey, I see this. This is what's going on and I want to fix it. You've already accomplished step one and step two, acknowledgement. And now you want to be a part of the resolution to resolve your issue. So hopefully you guys will decide to either find a counselor or try to talk about the things internally before you get to that point. But again, find ways to put a smile on each other's face. And it does not always have to be outside. It does not always have to involve other things and other people. Sometimes it's just you. And it is simple talks, cuddling, or not talking. And again, massages help. I got a great masseuse. I'm sure someone else listening, they may have one and they can tell you some things that they've done. And if you're listening, if you've had this type of situation, please give her some advice. Let her know the things that you did to better your relationship, because sometimes we need other ideas and creativity to put a spark back into your relationship.
Exactly. Cook together, honey. Listen, get in there and listen.
Absolutely.
Y'all start cooking together and doing some different things. I'm telling y'all, bring it on back because it can
Mhm.
happen. But you got to invest. You got to put that work in. You got to
Absolutely.
make it a priority, really.
Yeah.
I'm looking over here. I see Larry Jones was saying, what does the star stand for and how can you send money? The
Oh,
stars, Facebook has a thing where you can send stars. And so I don't know if y'all have seen that before, but when you click on it, it'll give you an option and those stars will go to us. So basically what happens is when you click on it, you can decide how many stars you want to send. And then Facebook should be able to give you an option to, use a card, credit card or a debit card or something to where you can actually pay for the amount. So it'll give you however many you want to put in there and they tell you how much that dollar amount is. And then they take out a portion and they send that to S. Marie and I so that we can continue making content. So thank you for asking. We appreciate
absolutely.
that
Yes.
very much. And Chantel said, good evening, Queens. Thank you for calling this valuable information. So thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you being on
Absolutely.
here as well.
Yeah.
All right, S. Marie, I think we got what, one more?
We do. We have one more. I don't know if you wanted to hit it. We got 14 minutes, so let's go for it.
Let's make do what it do.
That's right. Last one, it says, my girl cheats. Oof, a guy.
Ooh.
Okay. So this is what he says. So my girl cheated on me. I take part in the infidelity because I was not perfect either. However, we have agreed to repair our relationship. Tell me how we can rebuild trust after it has been broken. So incredible, and courageous and very mature of
Yes.
you to say she cheated on me. That's one. But what I love about what you said is I take part in the infidelity. I was not perfect. Um, that is powerful. You're not blaming her. She done her issue. She done her due, but you done something too. And you're not just saying, hey, you got caught, you did this, I didn't, or whatever. You're saying, hey, I have my part. Maybe I did something for you to in return do the same thing. So I just wanted to give you a shout out for that because that's important.
Yes,
But
because a lot of people just want to blame. They want to
absolutely,
take part. It
absolutely.
takes two to do anything. You know what I'm saying? For
Yep.
anything to happen, whatever it is, it does take because you're
Mhm.
in this together. So for it to
Yes.
get to some point, something along the line changed or shifted for another
Mhm.
person to want to make moves outside of the relationship. So it does take
Absolutely.
both.
Um, that's very true. And rebuilding trust after fidelity is hard.
Really.
But what you have to be willing to accommodate that individual. And what I mean by that is there's going to be some insecurity. There are going to be moments where, as a woman, she might let me see that phone. You have to be willing to do that. And I'm not saying that's right, but I'm saying those type of situations happen. Be prepared for that. Or hey, where are you? I need to know. Sometimes it's going to be a test. just be prepared for it. But if you've decided that you both want to work on this relationship and you want trust to be built, then you have to be the one trying to build the trust. She's going to build in her own way, but you have to do your part. So it's answering those questions that you really may not want to answer. It is, trying to go that extra mile to let her know that you're serious. A lot of times people fail to realize is that even text messages can be cheating. People's like, oh, it's only if you have sex. No, not at all. Cheating comes from text messages. It can be a phone call. It can be a lot of things. So just be mindful of the things that you do so you won't repeat the same cycle, because you have to have an understanding of what cheating is. So if you have, different people in your life that may not accept that relationship or may not be respectful of that, you got to cut ties with those people. If you can't set a standard that says, hey, you have to respect, and you have to decide if you're going to cut ties. You have to make sure that your spouse is comfortable, but she has to do the very same for you. You guys have to be willing to listen to one another. It's not this Healing isn't a linear process. It's a long process, and it goes in many different ways.
Yeah.
But you have to build trust by one, communication. And remember, if you have to lie about it, you shouldn't do it. And the fact that you want to move forward, you have to be wise enough to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. So get everything out. Learn not to throw it back. Once you've decided, hey, I'm going to push forward with this, don't throw it in her face next month. We've already dealt with this. Let it go. Let go and let God. That's what he says. So make sure that once this healing process, or you decide, hey, I want to be forgiving of it, don't throw it back in their face. That's the one thing that's going to help you build trust as well. And then make sure that that person knows everything, and make sure whatever transpired on her end or your end, never allow someone else to tell you or your mate something about the other person that you don't already know, because that's a kicker too. If there's infidelity, people love to be messy and be like, oh, well, we did blah blah blah. I know. Thank you. You want to have that security. So build security within the relationship as well, making sure that that person is confident in the relationship that they're building, regardless of what happened in the past. And never pay attention to the past, because what you have is your future. That's why I tell people, and in my book, I tell you the windshield is great. It's big. Guess why? Because that's what you need to see. Don't worry about what happened back there. That's not important. Don't worry about what's going on over here or over here. Worry about what's in front of you. And if your relationship is what you feel is in front of you, that's where you want to place your focus. Don't place your focus on anything else. And stop thinking with the flesh. If people are cheating, don't allow your flesh to take you somewhere where your mind, heart, spirit, and pockets and body can't get you out of. And what I mean by that is when you have, these encounters with people, you have to worry about health concerns. You have to worry about your own, spirit, and what you have going on. If something is going to antagonize and beat you down, it's not worth it. So don't let it mess with you mentally and physically. If you have something that you know is going to bother your spirit, don't do it. And you know what those things are. And that goes for her as well, because I feel like it's very rare that a man says, oh, well, my woman, cheated on me. It's always the woman being vocal about it. So shout out to you for saying, hey, she did, but we want to get past it. But again, do your part, because infidelity is a hard thing to get over, but it is something that's very achievable if you compromise and make a commitment to work on your relationship together, because it's not just going to be, her trying to make it work because she was the one at this point that was, going through something with someone else, or whatever the situation may be. You have your part too, as you said. So make sure that you're doing it together. Battle through this life together. It's easy with two. If one is doing all the work, then that's a whole problem, and that's something that you don't. It's not going to get you very far. Let me say that.
So true, so true. What I would say about it is, a lot of times people seek out, and sometimes people seek out attention and
Absolutely.
affection, and people want to be seen, and people want to be heard. And the fact of the matter is, sometimes we get caught up in other things in our relationships to where that person doesn't feel like they're a priority anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
so it
Yeah.
makes them seek other people out.
Other people.
And to rectify that is to make sure that you understand nothing is more important than what you have,
At
because this is
home.
who you chose to be with. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with that being said, you got to be mindful of other relationships that you create to fill a void of what you're not getting at home.
Absolutely.
So before you go do that, have a conversation. Say, you know what, we used to do this, and I love that, and we don't do it anymore. Help me understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be vulnerable enough to share how you feel
Mm-hmm.
before you take it somewhere else and create another dynamic that's going to be even worse. See, when they say entanglements, when you think of entanglements, that's something that's so balled up and all. You know how you something you be like, oh, if you've ever had a necklace and got it caught up and you're trying to
Oh
pull it
yeah,
apart and it's so hard because you're trying to figure out how to undo it so you can just
absolutely
and you sometimes you just be like, you know what, this is too much and I got to give it up.
right.
When you get into entanglements, those things are meant to be so all up in each other that it's hard to break that
Mhm.
apart. And so before you do that, back to what we said earlier, communication. Tell
Mhm.
somebody how you feel. Tell
Mhm.
somebody that, you know what, I know you have friends and whatever, whatever, but it used to be me and you, and we used to hang out all the time. And now you got your friends. Now I feel alone, or I feel like you don't have time for me, or I feel like when I come home and try to tell you about my day at work, you don't want to hear it. What is going
Mhm.
on? And be vulnerable now so that you don't have to do that later.
Later on.
Because when SHIT hit the fan, it it's hard to bring that back and regain trust. It's hard. It takes a lot, and it takes you having to do things that you really don't want to do. Most people don't want to tell you every where you at. Most people hate that. I can't hang out. You don't want to be henpecked, as they say. You don't want to be having
Mhm.
somebody, constantly on you, what you're doing, where you're going, who you're talking to. Nobody really likes a lot of questions.
Right.
And to avoid that, be
I
open,
agree.
have the
Mhm.
communication,
Mhm.
and if things are shifting to where you're growing apart, then be mature enough to say, you know what, maybe this is not going how we thought it was, and I care enough about me. I love me enough, and I love you enough not to take us down this road. We can still part ways and be okay. Let's not destroy each other by doing something that we may not be able to bring back. But the
Right.
beauty of it is, there are people who have been through infidelity and adultery and all those things
Mhm.
and have been able to regain trust and have been able to have a better relationship after the incident happened than they did before. But it requires work. It
Mhm.
requires you to own up to what you did. It requires you to ask for forgiveness. It requires you to be willing to shift how you do things in order to make the other person feel secure about how you're moving. Because at the end of
Absolutely.
the day, you can say all day long, people be out late at night and I don't know what you're doing. People do stuff in the daytime, baby. People do stuff at 8 o'clock in
Right.
the morning. So it's not a time thing.
Not
It's
at
how
all.
you make a person feel about what you're doing. So
Ab-
when you get somebody that can trust you through whatever you're doing, and they don't feel like they gotta, who was that calling, who was that,
Right.
who you testing, give people the
Mhm.
opportunity to feel secure around you,
Absolutely.
to where they can trust you with their heart.
Mm.
And that's putting you back on the road to mending the brokenness.
Mhm.
But you're going to have some conversations, and you're going to have to be willing
Tough
to,
ones.
go overboard to ensure
Mhm.
them that you're in it for the long haul. And this
Right.
incident that happened, it's not going to be something that's going to be an ongoing thing.
Absolutely. I love that was beautiful. That was great advice. That's exactly what it is. Communication can see you through anything,
Yeah.
but mindfulness and honesty will get you through everything.
Yes. Period. These are some good questions for tonight.
Yeah,
And
we thank you
y'all have
guys.
been
Thank you.
tuning
Thank
in.
you.
We have been having some great conversations, and on the screen we are this is how, if you want to submit a confession, we say confessions, but if you got a situation that's going on in your relationship and you want Marie to give you professional opinion and you want me to throw my 2 cents in, I got you. So go ahead and send those in, and then we will spotlight it. Of course, it's anonymous. We're not going to tell anybody who you are, your name,
No,
or anything, but we're putting it out there just because, sometimes you never know who you're going to help by putting
absolutely.
your situation out there. Somebody else may be going through the same thing. So this is it for tonight. Listen, relationship SMD, single, married, divorced, whatever your relationship status is, let us
We
know.
got
And again, it doesn't just have to be about, these physical, intimate relationships. It can be business relationships,
absolutely.
family relationships. We go through things no matter what relationship we're in. So,
Mhm.
yes.
Love
But
it.
Marie, we did that for tonight.
We
Thank y'all for
did.
joining us. So I guess that's it for tonight,
That's
y'all. We will
it.
be back next Tuesday. Make sure y'all tune in. Make sure you invite somebody to come back. But better yet, send us a relationship exchange and we can talk about your situation next Tuesday night. Until then, we're out of here. Y'all have a good one.